Mainstack will handle like large volume of stuff without anything breaking. This year we process payments in over 21 countries. Sometimes I think about it and I'm like, we did not get any complaints. Hi. Okay, my name is Daniel Akpauta. I lead the growth team at Big Cabal Media. For Moonshot, I led the marketing team. Moonshot is Tech Cabal's flagship conference that brings together founders, ecosystem enablers, and operators within Africa's tech ecosystem to discuss like some of the most pressing issues within Africa's tech. It's a physical event. For this year, the theme was building momentum. Last year's theme, which was building for the world, asked the question, what if African startups and founders can build products that could scale for like beyond the African market? For this year, the question we moved to answer, or we wanted to answer, was about people doing the real work and work that compounds. So it was like a more grounded take on the kind of work that was going on in the ecosystem. It was also just based on the reality. Funding had dropped and a couple of other things like that. Okay, so the tools we use, I think the big challenges that we experienced with them were the ability to process multiple payments like extremely easily, and even set up multiple payments like beyond like Naira. So on Mainstack, you can set up any currency. I think the other thing too was the ability to have integrated website pop-ups and stuff like that in a way that also just behaved properly. I think the final thing was like the granularity of tracking data. With Mainstack, you can see your revenue day on day, your revenue per country, even like your highest, the customer who has bought the most. Like there was just like a level of granularity on the back end that made a lot of sense and made life like easier. Mainstack really came as a recommendation from my events lead. For me, the first thing that seemed interesting to me was the back-end dashboard. It's something I'd always wanted, to be able to know what happened day on day, how many tickets were sold every day and stuff like that, revenue per day and stuff like that. I think the other thing that was really interesting to me was the fact that the team was very willing to act on a couple of like our requests. I had one request just like a couple of weeks after we had decided to test it, and it was done. Like once I saw that, I was like, I think it was very easy. I remember that someone was assigned to me to help, but I could do it like in my sleep really. There were a couple of things that required a little bit of explanation. For example, if you wanted to set up multiple currencies, because it's in USD, so you have to set up a Naira part of it. And then the other thing was like things like the fast action pricing. For example, if you're running a discount flash sale or stuff like that. I didn't understand it immediately, but having someone do that assigned was like, it helped. In terms of feedback from attendees, considering the volume of sales, we had very few number of complaints from attendees. I don't think that we had even up to 1% of attendees complain about their inability to make payments or complete payments, which is great. I think the other thing too was the responsiveness of the widgets and even the site. It just felt easy for people to make payments, so yeah. I'll tell them that they have quite an extremely responsive tech and customer support team. I think that was one of the things that was important to me, knowing that I could drop a Slack message and someone would respond in a couple of hours with an actual fix or with a timeline for a fix. There are a couple of things that I requested, and I was told that they were further down the timeline or the roadmap, but they were going to bring those up because it was important to us. For example, the perks feature, the group tickets. Group tickets launched because of us. The perks feature launched because of us, and a lot of those things took less than 3 weeks to be completed. So the reassurance from the team, and also the fact that they were very committed to building stuff and building like stuff that worked in a short time, was like very important to me. Yes, I would. I would definitely use Mainstack. Experience has been solid, team has been responsive. It's been a great experience, like very solid 90/100.